broadcast live on WBSM. So, great, we have a couple of changes to go over all of those in a very short and direct opening. First, the launch of this terrific event last week received rave reviews from the community. When Mayor-elect Scott Lang shared the idea with other mayors from across the country at Harvard's Kennedy School of Government last week, he was asked to return next year with the information gathered here to possibly be used as a national model throughout the United States of America. Come on, put it together. That's just outstanding. Outstanding. I come cheap, not. Our wonderful city has turned an important corner, and all of you deserve a pat on the back for making that happen. It's only fitting to begin our event by asking you to please stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I would ask for all the men in the hall, if you could, and you are wearing a hat, to please remove that hat. Call it a personal request, but thank you. Our flag is where? Right here. I have a problem. I pledge allegiance. Please remain standing if you could, folks. We were expecting Valerie Amaral. She's not here. That was a wonderful young lady that sang the Star Spangled Banner last week, but she's not here. So instead, if you can Bob, excuse me, can you play just the music? Before you do that, is there anybody here that can sing it well? Seeing as we're live on the radio, sing it well? How about, can you? You sure? Is that all right with you? Can we have a singer with you? Come on up here. What's your name? James Gagney, ladies and gentlemen, James Gagney for the singing of the national anthem. Here you go, James, let's do it.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, James, huh? How about that? Look, they're on their feet. They're still on their feet, James.
Is that James from Shipyard Rec?
Yeah. All right. Is that the band you're in, Shipyard Rec?
Yeah.
Oh, I know them. All right, as you know, because I want to keep things moving, James, thank you so much. Here you go. Here's your T-shirt, James. I want to keep things moving. Public service, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, takes a lot of sacrifice in endless hours. I would like to now ask all the elected officials currently in office or prior to stand so we can acknowledge them. I want to let you know that you may not see a lot of the city councilors here. That's because they are representing us in the city council meeting. I'm sure they will be coming up. For any and all elected officials, past and or present, if you could stand to be recognized so we can move forward. Please. Representative John Quinn, State Representative Steve Canessa, Dr. Fletcher. Ramona Silva. I got her scared there. And Mr. Eric Pope is here. I seen him. I don't know where he is. And in the back, ladies and gentlemen, the newly elected mayor, Mr. Scott Lang. It's a pleasure to welcome this evening's distinguished panels. Now, Lynn Poyant, who's normally here with us, could not make it. She had a family thing, and I'll leave it at that, but she will be here next week, and I'm sure she's listening to us. First, right here at the end of the table, from WBSM, our chief and boss, Mr. Pete Burley. Pete. From Comcast News 9, Mr. Jim Phillips. We mixed it in with a couple Neighborhood United people on our panel, and representing the Neighborhood United, first, the president of Neighborhood United, Suzanne Braga. And Letitia Silva. I'd like to also acknowledge all the neighborhood associations that are here tonight who work tirelessly from the sun up to sunset to make this community a better place for all of us. So if there's anybody here who is an active member of your local neighborhood community, if you could please stand so we could clap and then move forward. Don't be shy. Come on now. I'm not shy. Stand up. There's a few of you. I know who you are. Don't make me say your names. All right, great. To say just a couple of words before I get into the rules, because I'm trying to move as quickly as possible here, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you not a Neighborhood United individual, but also a personal friend, because we shared some cell blocks together. Please welcome tonight's designated Neighborhood Association speaker, Mr. Ronnie Gonzalez. Ronnie? Ronnie is the president of Hope 6 Caroline Street Neighborhood Association, which is located in Ward 3, and the vice president of Neighborhood United.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to see you all here. It shows people take interest. I want to welcome you to the Great Ideas Forum, sponsored by Mayor-elect Scott Lang and Neighborhoods United, which is an umbrella group for many of the neighborhood associations that are represented here this evening. I'd also like to thank the sponsors, Mayor-elect Scott Lang Transition Team. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. Neighborhoods United, Medium Studio, Moore and Isherwood Communications, The Standard Times, SouthCoast247.com, Weekly Compass, WBSM, Mars Donuts, Greater New Bedford Regional Vocational Technical High School, Comcast 9 News, New Bedford Public Access Television.
And in the back, helping us with all the microphones who've been just simply fabulous, R&B Entertainment.
And I want you to remember there's only two types of ideas. Good ideas and better ideas. So we could move along.
Sure. Good job, Ronnie. Thank you, Ronnie. All right. Just give me a moment to bring you all back in time and share with you just a couple of ideas that popped up last week off the top of my head. There was an idea from a businessman in downtown New Bedford about the downtown parking and how they ought to consider changing it to on an angle so more cars can get into a smaller area, and it was a very good idea. And that's the type of thing we're looking for. Also a presentation in the hopes to increase the awesome job that the local theaters and entertainment industry does in our city. They had a presentation on Orpheum Theater. And also the other one that popped up from the citizens was a city hall to consider opening longer hours, seeing as most people have to make a living and get out of work anywhere between 4 and 7, and City Hall is closed. In the great words of Frank Lloyd Wright, called Ideas, Salvation Through Imagination. That said, let's all show at this time a great, awesome round of applause, heartfelt, and appreciation to the man behind the Great Ideas Tour, Mr. Scott Lang.
Sir? Thanks, and like I said last week, no need for applause. We're all in this together. This is a great turnout again tonight. I was worried about the cold weather. Last week I was worried about the rain. Now we got the cold weather. I can't imagine what we're going to have next week in the way of weather, but I know everyone's going to turn out again. It's new people. It's great to see everyone. We want to, tonight we're going to have a very, very fast pace type of a forum because we want to get everyone in. And I'm looking forward to listening, learning about your ideas, and I'm taking copious notes. There were some great ideas last week. I know are going to be great ideas this week as well. So let's get it going, and thank you very much again for coming out tonight.
All right, come on, give it up. Newly elected Mayor Senior Bedford, Mr. Scott Lang. The final word here, hearing tonight, before we get going, as Mr. Lang inferred, we will learn a lot from every forum. Last week, we heard wonderful ideas from a lot of community leaders and their agencies. Tonight, however, we are going to continue to hear from them, but we're going to hear a little bit more from the citizens, and this is how it's going to work. We're going to mix it up here. This evening's mix will be 5 outstanding, everyday people like myself, 5 in a row, then 2 people that will represent the youth industry, the youth citizenry. And what I'm going to do with the youth is, if you're 20 and younger, that's what we're considering a youth, okay? 20 and younger. I only have 2 individuals signed up, so if there are any other wonderful individuals here that wish to sign up, please do so in the back, because they're going to be running those names down to us. And then we will hear from 1 organization. So 5, 2, and 1. After that organization is going to be a 1-minute presentation brought to you by southcoast247.com, kind of a last-minute ad in here. And it's going to be a great idea from the past. It will be a photo right on this beautiful big screen underneath the WBSM banner. And that will only last 1 minute, and there will be 5 of those. So as we move along, they will go right to that. We will not be taking a break tonight. Last week, it didn't last 5 minutes. It lasted about 12, and it was a bit too long. You know, we had a 5-minute break. We had to go back on the air. Mr. Pete really stepped to the plate, as he always does, with his amazing talent, and covered those 7 minutes. So tonight, we're going to go straight through. All right? Now, everyone, no exceptions, will have 3 minutes. 3 minutes to convey their thoughts and their great ideas. Questions will be rendered from the panel if they choose to do so, and those questions will be short, brief, and to the point, so we can keep things moving along. So if they choose to do that, so that would be great. If you do have your cell phone on, I'd really appreciate it if you could put it on vibrate, please, because it will get picked up over the radio. We do have a timekeeper tonight, and this is how it's going to work. First, Mr. Ryan Dixon, right behind me over here with the blue shirt. Ryan Dixon will hold up cue cards showing how much time you have remaining. I will ask you, or Mr. Pittman will ask you to comments near the end of your 3 minutes. Please be fair to everyone. A lot of people here. We want to hear from everybody, okay? Now, our wonderful pianist, Henry Ali, who is just simply fabulous, one of the best pianists in the Commonwealth, from what I understand, and hopefully he'll stick around and keep entertaining us around here. We'll put out some kind of tune, you know, as me and Kenny are moving around to keep things going, okay? And to add to that, if he has to stop playing music, we're going to make some money. You'll have a public fine, that's right. And if you don't pay your fine, those wonderful boys and ladies up in blue are going to come down and get you. No, I'm only kidding. It'll be a fine, an amount of your own discretion, okay? To be equal, it will be equally matched by the donation by newly elected Mayor Scott Lang, and then it will be donated to the Neediest Family Fund. As a way to show our appreciation, any great idea that's not shared here, because of time or for whatever reason, tomorrow from 11 to 1 p.m., excuse me, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on my show, the Evan Rousseau Show on WBSM, I will go through most of those ideas. I'll be in the studio, and I'm going to ask Mr. Lang to send someone from his transition team or himself to come in too, so you can talk to us. So if you don't get heard tonight, chances are over the next 3 weeks you may hear it on the radio. All right, boom, boom, boom. Me and Ken are going to split the floor. We're going to start off with 2 citizens. We're going to start right now. I'm still under my time limit here. We're going to start right now. As I'm holding the mic for one, Ken will go to the other one, and then we're going to keep going back and forth, 2 people at a time, so we can keep things rocking and rolling. So right on the top of my list, and I did not mention Ken, I'm sorry, Mr. Ken Pittman will be assisting me and helping me tonight, because we're all a team at the radio station. So Ken Pittman, who's on the radio, evening drive 3 to 6. So I'm going to call out 4 names, okay? And we're going to do the first 2, and then the next 2 right in order. We're going to start with the citizens. The first 4 names signed up in order as they came in. Tyrell Acosta from Bedford Street. Where are you, Mr. Costa? Okay. I will get, I'm sorry? I didn't hear him. Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Eddie Johnson. Eddie, where are you, Eddie? All right, Ed. See, Ken, you got Ed in the back. Then it will be a Mr. Paul Arruda, excuse me, Paul Arruda. Right, Paul? All right, Paul, how are you? And then Herbert Olivera or Oliveri? Is it Olivera? Olivera. And where's Herbert? I'm sorry, he needs to raise his hand. I cannot see him. Okay, sir. All right, so we'll start with you. Top of the list, Mrs. Costa. 3 minutes. The signs are in the back now, folks, so you're going to have to watch that. Here you go. It's all you.
Okay. My name is Trina Costa, and I'm very concerned with children getting help in school very, very early on, not waiting until they are very discouraged and drop out or get pushed out or whatever, but finding a way that the parents can know what to do for their children. I think there needs to be a place where parents can come at times that are good for them, that not in working hours, in other words, where parents can learn, be taught, meet in groups, different organizations can get together for the purpose of educating parents into what their children's needs are and how they can best be met, understanding how the law works, the No Child Left Behind work. I talked with a parent today who called me who has a child referred to DSS, and I have to represent her in her educational plan because mother doesn't understand it at all. Now, parents need to know these things, and we need to provide some kind of a place and people who are concerned. There are plenty of people who understand and are concerned. We just need a place.
Thank you. All right, now we'll hear from Mr. Johnson. Before we do that, folks, if you could kind of face the front of the room so that panel can hear you clearly and that you can see the time signs that will be held up. Before I toss it over to Kenny, does the panel have any follow-up questions of Mrs. Costa? Nope, good. Kenny?
Thanks, Evan. Eddie Johnson's not going to take any of our time. He wants to let somebody else use the time. He's simply going to pass this information on to Scott Lang.
Fair enough.
So that Scott don't have to take any copious notes, I prepared it in writing.
Thanks, Eddie.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Now, Mr. Paul Arruda, followed by Mr. Herbert Olivera. Paul?
Thank you, Evan. Actually, I'd like to bring up three things: education, crime, and also jobs. I feel like for education, we should consider maybe a dress code, because what things are happening now is we're getting a lot of students that end up being classified by what they wear, by almost like the lifestyle, and there's a lot that's going across the country that the dress represents something. Could be gangsters, it could be anything. But I think if you instill in a child at a young age that a dress code instilled in a child, meaning that you're going to school, it's a job. It's the most important job. Just like when we go to our job, we have to have a dress code. We just can't go in ripped jeans or certain shirt or anything. We have to have a dress code. If we instill this in our children at a young age, they get the feeling that, wow, this is important. I'm going to a job, I have to achieve, and it just brings up self-esteem. That's the way that I feel it's like about that. Crime now, like quickly. I think that we should do almost like we do with sexual predators, meaning convicted drug dealers who we know are in the city. We know in public housing they get evicted. I say one better yet. I say that we should consider putting it almost on a list, and landlords can call the police department, City Hall, and see if this man has prior convictions. And if he does, you cannot discriminate because somebody might be turning their life around, and that's fine. But it gives a heads up to the police. Also, tell the community so we can see if there's traffic or if there's something different going on. We can let the cops know that, hey, he's back in business again. Put the pressure on him, make him leave New Bedford. This is no place to stay because we're watching every move that you do. Third of all, jobs. Jobs, we have to educate ourselves in alternative energy. It's the future. We could be the light of the whole country. I'm telling you, windmill power, people got discouraged in the South End because of the scare tactics. I believe right now things are going up. NSTAR, Com Electric, Com Gas. Right now, our sewer rates are going to go up. So we have to look at maybe by using wind power down there, we could cut our energy costs in half, and that could reflect our sewer bill. That savings could help us pay other bills, because everything's going up. We have to find a way to energy to work for us. None of the big companies are going to help us because they don't want business taken away from them. We can do it. We have the win. Do it. Thank you.
All right, stayed under 3 minutes. Very good. Before I toss it back to Ken here, the next two after Mr. Oliveira, it's Richard from, it looks like Haywood Ave. I cannot make out your last name. It's you, okay, sir. And then David, is it Babcock from Babcock? Okay, those are the next two. Mr. Oliveira, if you could, sir.
Hi, Herbert Olivier is got an idea about his concerns for the brownout. Evan?
You know, lately we've been hearing more about the threat of brownouts. It's bad enough in the summertime. At least you can get a fan and try to cool off. Middle of winter, you lose your electric power, nothing runs to keep you heat. I would like to suggest that into having municipal power run by the municipal government. They have it in Taunton, they have it in Middleborough and Medfield. It can't be done overnight. It takes planning and it takes some funds. But it's something that would be done toward the future. It would be cheaper for those who live here. It would be very conducive for industry, because that's one of the reasons why they close up and move out. I think it's something that should be studied, and we should move in that direction if it's at all possible that we can financially do it in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Herbert.
Very quickly, I want to mention, Richard, where are you? Please raise your hand again, Richard. Oh, that's right. I want to mention very quickly that these wonderful individuals, Chris McCarthy, Jeremy Waxler, and Jason the Lord Wentworth, well, that's right, you know, what can I say? He's going to come around and hand you a t-shirt after you speak, okay? After Richard, it will be David. Richard?
Merry Christmas. I'm going to take what was on last meeting. You want to establish a curfew for city youths? That's never going to work. Change the name of South Central because it negates the Cape Verdean community. There's black and white people that live down there too. Just clean up the gutter. Move Brittany Dive. What are you going to do? Put a Walmart there? You ever hear of a city that never sleeps? Fixes that one. And provide a place for pleasure boats to come and hook up to for what? There's nothing here for them to come and see anyways. Why they want to hook up? I go to Martha's Vineyard all the time. I laugh at the ferry boat we have. Well, I have an idea. You can generate work this way. I got an idea. You know, we're unemployed. Start something for the people of the city of New Bedford who are unemployed and ghetto to go and clean up the trash that's on the gutter streets. If you came in here today on the left, you seen the bushes full of leaves. I could have cleaned that up for about $5 an hour. So couldn't the unemployment people. You know, I'm sorry if my ideas don't work and you don't think that has an idea, but they do. You know, the crime rate here, you know, is ridiculous. Nobody's got anything to do. So if you have them work 8 hours of the day, because I got an ID I paid $16 for from the city of New Bedford, for what? So they can know who I am? Why don't we use the ID so they can say, yep, you work today, here's your crew, go to work. Just put them to work. New York did it. I went there when I was 14 years old. They were cleaning the streets. It was amazing. Thousands and hundreds of people, and there's people on the gutter sweeping, pushing, picking up the leaves. I got a saw in front of my house. The leaves fall in the bog. You gotta pick it up. If I cleaned it first, you wouldn't have overflow to the gutters. They want to go down our drain and then back up our drainage and overflowing our cellars. A good idea is we should just create jobs for the people who ain't working, and maybe that will help the problem. My backyard's full of refrigerators, large refrigerators, couches. How come I couldn't pick that up? That's creating jobs. You know, the youth is what we're looking forward in the future. So we got to deal with this issue now, so later on these issues still won't occur. I don't know if my ideas are good or I got anything across, but I see from the street version, because I'm up all day and up all night. The boat, I laugh, one person gets off, I'm paying $12 in Woods Hole. We've got a boat from New Bedford to go to Martha's Vineyard. There's 50 of us to put money into that boat. That boat's just wasting fuel for nothing. No one's paying money for that. So if you take that and drop the price to $20, maybe I can take that boat instead of driving to Woods Hole. And we can keep that money here in the city of New Bedford instead of me having to go to Falmouth or Hingham to go and get jobs to clean up their city where my cities are being left unattended. I can stay here in the city of New Bedford and clean instead of going to Hingham and clean that city. I'm sorry, I hope everybody understands what I'm trying to come through, but it's a ghetto.
Need a fine. Hey, you want to kick in anything for the fine? The fine, they rang the bell on you, which means you can, if you wish, to donate $1, $2, $3. Fair enough, fair enough. We'll toss it over to Ken now. After Ken, Frank, it looks like Roland's here. Who's Frank Rollins? Please raise your hand. That's what it looks. Robbins?
Frank Robbins, right over there.
Okay, sir. And after Frank, Marlene Pollock. Marlene? Right, okay. Very good. Kenny?
All right, David's idea has...
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
David's idea has to do with a citizen becoming a neighbor.
Good evening. My name's Dave Babcock. I'm a member of Citizens in Action for Progress, also known as CAP. Immediately after the recent election, an idea emerged based on Mayor-elect Scott Lang's concept of from a neighborhood up, primarily bringing into focus citizens and neighborhood concerns and issues. We recognize and applaud all the various community groups, and we know how important and vital they are to their neighborhoods and constituents. Yet we wanted this group to be citizen-led and have the ability to impact and be responsive to all citizens outside neighborhood constraints and boundaries. Neighborhoods will be the rebuilding blocks this city and this new administration and the urgent desire for change will use as support once again and will be able to depend upon. All citizens coming together once more, working in unison to restitch the fabric of the city, working to repair the very cloth it is made from. It's an ambitious idea, yet one whose time has come and now has already begun. We have formed a group of concerned citizens with a dedicated focus on bringing positive action, influence, and change to all aspects of our city of New Bedford. We're looking to involve all citizens by reaching across cultural, social, ethnic, and financial barriers in order to assure that this city's government respects the ideas and the inputs of all its citizens. We seek to build partnerships with both business community and the social service agencies to foster two-way involvement. And we seek to act as fair yet vigilant protectors of the political process and its direction and the results it directly affects the citizens in New Bedford. The specifics of our actions are these. Firstly, to work within the citizens and community organizations on a street-by-street basis, gathering information, assessing specific needs, and organizing action groups to bring positive results, such as neighborhood cleanups, home repair and painting, crime identification, and neighborhood watch. We also want to work with the youth and its organizations to organize community sporting, music, arts, and cultural events, address dropout rates, GED, and anti-gang activities. And we want to work as a watchdog for the political process, provide ways for citizens to see the progress and actions that directly affect them, monitor and hold accountable all elected New Bedford officials, and follow up on citizens' requests concerning public infrastructure needs. We also would like to propose that the City Council create, open, and conduct a public forum amounting to 1/2 of